Hi mga kababayan, this is your Tita Abroad. Today, I want to share with you the journey of how I moved to New Zealand and how I was able to settle here and now get a resident visa. I know you're here because you want to move to New Zealand or anywhere in the world, and hopefully my journey will be able to help you because I will not only share the story of how I got here and settled here, but I will also give you some advice and some tips of what I learned along the way para naman mas madali sa inyo makapag-move abroad. Just a disclaimer that I'm not an immigration consultant, so if you would like some proper immigration advice, then there would be other avenues to seek that. However, I'm speaking to you from an OFW's experience of so many visa processes. Pag-manifest tayo para makarating kayo dito or somewhere else in the world. So my story in New Zealand is in 3 steps. First, when I was a student here, then when I was on my post-study work visa, and then when I got my work visa, which eventually led to my residency. If you don't want to be a student, that is completely fine because I will still cover some tips and advice for you to be able to come to New Zealand or anywhere else in the world, diretso ng trabaho. I moved to New Zealand last 2017 under a fee-paying student visa. The details of that are in my video above, dito yata or dito. But I studied for 1 year in a business management diploma course at the Cornell Institute of Business and Technology. My first year abroad was the happiest year that I have ever experienced. When you move overseas or when you just relocate to another place, you experience a new environment and you will see the world through childlike eyes again. I remember just being so enthusiastic about exploring my surroundings, meeting new people, being exposed to new cultures, hearing different accents. The advantage of being a student in New Zealand and in some other countries is that you have the right to also work alongside studying. So in my case, I was able to work 20 hours part-time, and that is a stipulation. Required talaga siya sa student visa that you are able to work 20 hours per day because, of course, New Zealand understands that you need to have money to tide you along while you study. They know that you cannot rely on just your savings or your parents or relatives or sponsors. During my time as a student, I worked in different areas that were completely outside of my field. In the Philippines, I worked as a journalist and also in public relations. And here, my very first job was sales lady ng makeup. And I really want to stress that when you move overseas, you might have the expectation that if you look for another job, this job will have the same footing or the same level as the one that you left. But that might not always be the case. If you came here or anywhere as a student, there is a likelihood that you will have to start from scratch. This is not a bad thing. This is a good thing because starting from scratch means that you will be exposed to the work culture and really just to the general culture of the country that you're living in. When I was working as a sales lady of makeup, I was able to interact with so many people. I got to see how managers work, how employees work, and that really just helped me build a good foundation for when I actually moved to having a full-time job and having an office job. My advice if you want to move anywhere as a student is to, of course, find a school that you want to study in, find a course that you want to pursue. Make sure that this course is aligned with the job that you eventually want to have because that will really help you in your job applications and in your consequent visa applications as well. When you're in a new environment, it also really helps to be curious. Really explore the environment that you're in. Try and talk to the people who are around you. Try and interact with locals. Try the local food. It gives you a deeper understanding of the culture. It also helps you, become more worldly, become more cultured, ganon. And that ultimately helps you in your journey to the next step, which is finding work in the country that you're staying in. Now let's talk about the post-study work visa that I applied for. The advantage of studying in New Zealand and in some other parts of the world, I think like Australia and Canada, is that after you study, you have the right to stay on in the country to find work. Syempre dito sa New Zealand, if you studied here, New Zealand would want you to use the skills that you learned into helping New Zealand's economy and to also just building up the workforce. And so after I studied, I applied for the post-study work visa, which allows me to look for an employer that I want to work for. So for 3 years, I had complete freedom in choosing what field or what employer I wanted to go to, what position I wanted to be in, where in New Zealand I wanted to be. Having this post-study work visa was such a huge perk, because usually if you go to a country immediately to work and you have a work visa agad-agad, most of the time there are stipulations there that say na you could only work for the employer who sent you to the country. Kapag ikaw ay galing sa Pilipinas, tapos na-hire ka dito ni, let's say for example, Fonterra, when you get your work visa, sasabihin dun sa work visa that you can only work for Fonterra. If you don't work for Fonterra anymore or you don't want to work for them, you have to come back to your country unless you find another job that is willing to sponsor you. So that was not the case with my post-study work visa. I had complete freedom to go where I wanted to go. During this post-study work visa, I eventually was able to find a permanent job as a marketing executive for an orchestra. I also was able to relocate from Auckland to Wellington, and my employer helped me move my stuff and also move myself down to Wellington from Auckland. So when you find an employer who is willing to sponsor you, you have to ask if they're willing to pay for you to travel to wherever the base of operations is. Most of the times they would pay for you. I have not heard of an instance where you had to shell out money first. After my post-study work visa, I had to apply for an essential skills work visa, which no longer exists now, and it has been replaced by the AEWV, Accredited Employer Work Visa. More details below on the description box. This allowed me to work full-time for the orchestra, but again, like I said a while ago, from having an open job search visa, dahil naging work visa na ako, natali ako dun sa orchestra. So I was not able to move for a while. I stayed there for a total of 3 years before I got my residency here in New Zealand, and again was able to move freely. However, before we talk about the resident visa, I want to help you get work here in New Zealand or anywhere in the world. So I have a few tips for you. My first tip for you is to look at the numerous visa options that are available to you. Immigration.govt.nz has the complete list actually of all of the visas that are available to us Filipino citizens. And when you identify what visas would be able to apply to you, that's when you can start creating your game plan. So again, really important to do research, because from here, we can start doing our plan A, plan B, plan C, plan Z. So it really just helps to have that foundation para alam po natin how to move forward with the next steps. My second tip for you is to, again, do your research on resumes or CVs. Ang mga resume sa Pilipinas ay hindi pareho yung kanilang itsura sa mga resume sa ibang parte ng mundo. Tulad dito sa New Zealand, ibang-iba po yung resume dito sa Pilipinas. For one, we don't have photos on our resumes. Medyo nagulat yung mga first employers ko, no? Yung mga first na in-applyan ko, no, nakita nila, bakit may picture yung resume nito? I would recommend that you put on your CV the list of skills that you have, the list of job experiences that you have that are just relevant to the role that you're applying for. If you are applying for a restaurant job, then just list down the experiences that you have in food and beverage and hospitality. Wag po nating ilagay yung iba nating mga experiences that are outside this. If you are applying for, let's say, marketing, only put in the experiences that you have with regard to communications and marketing, and none of the others. They won't be relevant. Keep your resume as short as you can. 1 or 2 pages would be really good. Another hot tip is to look through Canva. Canva has many different templates for resumes and CVs, and I am actually using one of their templates for my current CV. I'll share the link with you below nung talagang template na ginagamit ko. And hopefully you could apply that to your resume as well. My next tip for you, tip number 3, is to look through different job hunting websites. The number 1 job hunting website here in New Zealand is seek.co.nz. So dyan po ninyo mahanap ang all manner of jobs, mapa corporate man or mapa labor, basta po lahat ay nandyan. We also use LinkedIn here a lot. We also have Trade Me Jobs. I think those 3 websites really capture the vacancies that we have across New Zealand. So when you have a chance, create an account in these platforms and dun kayo mag-apply. When you are applying, you have to have, along with your resume, a cover letter. Ang cover letter ay letter na ibibigay mo addressed to the HR of the company you're applying for, saying, hey, I'm interested in applying for this company. I like your company because I like your values. I like your work. This is my job experience, and this is how my skills and my job experience is relevant to this position that I am applying for. So really state your case in this cover letter because it will make or break your application. Really, the key to a good cover letter is making it short and really just telling this employer, I want to work for you because I believe in what you're doing, and this is how I can bring my skill set and how I can help you be a better business. Another tip I have for you is to connect yourself with recruiters. Hindi po yung recruiters sa Pilipinas, but yung recruiters dito sa New Zealand. Iba yung recruiters dito sa New Zealand. And here, some employers actually approach them to say, hey, this is a vacancy that we have. We will rely on you to gather a pool of candidates for you to present to us. So it's good for you to be in the database of a few recruiters here in New Zealand. In my description box below, I will have a link there which lists all of the recruiters in New Zealand, from the very top part of New Zealand down to the very bottom of New Zealand, and in each region there's different recruiters, so the link below will have all of those. I would suggest you reach out to them. Just send them an email saying that, hey, I saw your website, here is my resume, here are my skill sets, I am interested in having a Zoom meeting with you to discuss what I can bring to the table. So ganyan lang po kasimple para malagay ka nila sa database nila. And from there, when you are in their database, it makes it so much easier kasi meron ka ng kakampi sa paghahanap ng mga trabaho dito sa New Zealand. My next point is to be open about the location of where you're gonna work. A lot of people are attracted to the main cities of New Zealand or whatever country they want to work in. So in this case, maraming people are attracted to Auckland, Wellington, and Christchurch because those are our top 3 cities. But I want you to explore areas outside of those kasi most likely there will be a lot more job shortages in regions. Let's say for regions like Queenstown, kung saan kinasal si Ann Curtis, Blenheim, Nelson, marami pong job openings dito na hindi napapansin kasi hindi siya masyadong kilala. Just be open to all locations. And that way, more chances of winning. And the last tip I want to share with you is the most important. That is to believe in yourself, advocate for yourself, and sell yourself. I know you have so many strengths. And these strengths, these skills, will eventually help you find employment. It really helps to sell yourself because when you finally get an interview for a job, you really have to tell them, ako ang pinakamaganda. Ako ang pinakamaganda na candidate para sa pwesto na to. Kasi meron akong skills na to, meron akong background na ganito, may award akong ganito. Ako ang most honest sa aming klase before. Mga ganon. When you have that confidence and when you have that belief in yourself, it really shows in your attitude and it really shows in your demeanor. So I want you every day to just look at yourself in the mirror and say, magaling ka. Kayang-kaya mo yan. The journey of moving overseas will be filled with a lot of challenges, with a lot of self-doubts, which is why it's really important to always find that inner strength, find that confidence, and really just advocate for yourself. Maniwala po tayo sa ating mga sarili. The fact that you're already here in this video and the fact that you're researching about moving abroad means that you are already doing your homework and you are more prepared than yesterday to move in another part of the world. So, good job sa inyo. Naniniwala po ako sa inyo. That's the story of how I moved to New Zealand, but I want to hear from you. Kung meron po kayong mga tanong para sa akin, just let me know in the comments below and we could answer that in another video for the future. I really hope you find this useful. If you do, please subscribe and give a thumbs up kasi medyo nahirapan po ako to make this video. So I really hope that it has helped you. As always, mga kababayan, I believe in you Naniniwala ako sa inyo. This is your tita abroad. Kung may tanong kayo, let me know. See you next time. Paalam!